this is the match for you. Right now, there looks like there's 3 Augur Boluses in play.
Wow, and Matt Costa so far ahead on lands.
2,
Look
4,
at that.
6, 8, 9 to 5.
How did this happen? 9 to 5 lands?
Yeah.
And you know, if you're unfamiliar with the control mirror, that's the surest way to see who's winning. Who has more lands in play?
Normally that's the case. But Justin has a lot of cards in his hand.
Yeah, he does.
And Costa only has, what, 3 cards left?
3 cards left, but Justin Desai on 7 life here.
All right. So
Matt Costa goes for end of turn resto.
Does he find anything?
With the spell up too?
Yeah. I see a Sphinx Revelation and a Think Twice, so that's not much of a option there. You know?
Draw 2 or draw 7.
Yeah. So it looks like we might be going to a game 3 unless Justin could do something miraculous here.
He's going to need something very cool.
Yeah. We'll see. Is there anything special in Justin's deck that everyone should know about? What do you think?
Let's see. It looks like a pretty standard deck list. He has 1 Supreme Verdict.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of these decks, same
standard.
thing, Costa. Is it the exact mirror match? It looks pretty close. 3 Augurs, 4 Restoration, 3 Snap. It might actually be the same exact 75.
It looked like Justin crossed out something to go to the same 75.
Exactly.
He was originally going to be 73 out of 75. Now he's 74.
He made a few changes,
75.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see someone's deck list and see how many times they cross out,
right?
How many times they change their mind. All right, so a Dispel War right there.
Matt Costa going to draw 6 cards,
3,
up
4,
to 26 life,
5, 6.
all but put this game away. Justin Desai is on 4 life with 6 lands.
Yeah, I think Justin knows that this game is pretty much done with unless he has something crazy. Justin draws just a Think Twice.
Wow, not what he wants.
Just really short on lands. That was the whole thing. He has everything that he wants in his hand, but for him to kind of survive past this point, he would need to play multiple lands in a turn. And we all know if you don't have expiration or whatnot, you can't.
Right.
So
here we go. 4 mana. He's going to put up a fight. He's going to cast a Resto. Could it be that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much it's going to help. Land, Augur.
That doesn't help.
Yeah. That was probably one of the worst things they could do. Costa's untapping. He has tons of lands. Justin only on 4 life. I see a Turn and Burn in hand.
Yeah, this game is over. Costa has a Snapcaster. He has 2 counters at his disposal. Turn and Burn. He has everything.
Yeah. But it looks like the match isn't over because Costa lost game 1.
Right.
And there is, again, only 23 minutes left. And in a match like this, they're going to sideboard. They're going to shuffle. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Justin just scoops right now just to save time.
Yeah, it looks like Word Leader's Helix from Matt Costa off the snap.
Right.
Yeah, there's the scoop.
Yeah. I feel everyone does a slight delay on scooping. It's like,
did I really lose this game?
Yeah, it's always an extra like 5 to 10 seconds, sometimes a bit more. But it looks like Justin just wants to wake himself up. They're going to game 3. Again, another really important match. Both players 6-1.
That's right. When you have 1 loss in a tournament like this, every loss is so important. Every loss is crucial. You know, both these players just can't afford to take a loss.
Yeah. I apologize. They're actually 5-1. We'll change it for a second. But again, they're both fighting to be 6-1.
To be 6-1. Yes.
Yeah. So these guys here are just essentially, you know, whoever wins here just has to 2-0-1, 2-0. You know, maybe even 2-1 if 8-2 will get in.
You know, it's a pretty big mistake though, and it's one a lot of Magic players have fallen into. I've fallen into it too, where you don't take it 1 round at a time. Where you say, okay, I need the 3-1 to top 8. I need the 2-1 to top 8. So you're looking ahead to your top 8 matches to the last round, and you lose focus on what's currently at hand. In this case, sideboarding.
Okay.
Or
yeah, that's definitely fair. For me, I tend to look ahead, but I don't think it's necessarily the worst thing. I'm always like, yeah, you know what? In 8 rounds, I'm going to be doing a Modern Master side draft.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah. So we'll see what Costa has up his sleeve here. Do you think Costa's doing any tricking sideboarding? Because I mean, Costa just played this pretty much same deck in a bunch of rounds of Grand Prix Miami. You know, he had his 3 buys. He played 6 rounds on day 1. He played another 6 rounds on day 2, and then he played his top 8 match.
Yeah, he has a ton of experience with this deck. He has a ton of experience with the archetype in general. I don't think he'll be doing anything fancy here. Maybe he'll be like trimming his syncopate numbers depending on player draw, but nothing too not too special. There's not a lot of room for play here.
What do you think the most important card in the matchup is?
Oh, that's an awesome question.
Yeah, if you had to pick one,
I would probably say Sphinx's Revelation.
Yeah, I would probably agree there. I think just whoever has more cards, whoever has more lands is going to be ahead in the game. Anything else in the sideboard, you think?
Yeah, for sure. I think Sphinx's Revelation and Dispel.
Okay. Because stopping Sphinx's Revelation?
Exactly. And because you can afford to tap out for Sphinx's Revelation or virtually tap out, leave only 1 mana up, you're not really giving that much up, but you have a hard counter, which is so key.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. I think a lot of the other cards are going to play less of a role, like any of the burn spells. We saw Turn and Burn there, where you want to leave in a couple of Turn and Burns, but because of War Leader's Helix, because of Sphinx's Revelation, because you're not really going to get in a lot of cheap damage, trying to burn out your opponent is less likely. It's more, the game's going to go long, and then someone's going to take over the game.
Right, and really those are just like parries and feints, trying to set up for a big Sphinx's Revelation, trying to make your opponent tap out on his own turn to deal with your spells, trying to make him play his cards in an order he would rather not, so that you can resolve something big, like a Thundermaw or a Sphinx's.
Yeah, exactly. Now, both players here, they are 5-1, and there's only 19 minutes left on the clock. If they end up drawing, they'll both be 5-1-1, where they'll both be in a situation where they'll have to 3-0 the last 3 rounds to make it.
Yeah, I expect if this round goes to time, I suspect we might see a concession.
You think so?
Yeah, these two are friends. They realize that X11 might not even be a lock for top 8.
You never know.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Yes, anywhere from 8-2 might make it in to, you have to go 9-1 at these events.
Yeah, it's tough. It's really hard to tell. A lot of it matters on the pair ups and pair downs. Who wins those matches?
Exactly.
When someone gets paired down and they lose, it's like keeping someone in contention, kind of.
Yeah. We're probably down to only 2 or 3 undefeateds at this point.
Yeah.
Very few.
With this number of rounds, probably 3.
Yeah. All right. So it looks like Justin has lands and spells. So he's keeping, and Cass is going to keep as well. It looked like Justin wanted to steal. Oh no, okay. It looked like Justin wanted to just like steal and be like, okay, we're keeping, right? Just not really thinking. But Cass is like, nah, I got a mulligan, man.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
Not that easy. So yeah, Justin looks tired, huh?
Yeah. So Justin will be on the play. Cass is mulliganing down to 6. Last game, I don't know what happened. I kind of wanted to watch the beginning of that game because it was just Costa had so many lands.
I can only imagine. Justin just must have bricked on land turn after turn after turn, because that had to be turn 10.
Way past turn 10, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Costa had 9 lands in play. I don't know how many land drops he missed.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it was about turn 10 or whatnot.
That's crazy, though. This deck is designed to hit every single land drop. It has all the cantrips. It has Think Twices. It has Azorius Charms that cycle. Augur of Bolosses, those don't help find land, but they help find Think Twices and Charms, and that's a weird situation.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, these guys are definitely really friendly with each other. Known each other for a long time. They're just talking. Casa's mulliganing, doesn't even seem upset. I was saying this before. Casa's somebody that you don't want to play against because he's so good, but you want to play against because he's a really nice opponent, really awesome guy to play against.
Never someone you're too upset to lose to.
Yeah, that's another thing.
All right, 6 cards for Matt Costa. Let's see if he can keep them.
Yeah, and I think Costa said he'll keep, and he does just that. There's a Hollow Fountain from Justin. Now, the first couple of turns, there's going to be a lot of just playing lands, passing, maybe a Think Twice, maybe someone will have an Augur, and a main phase Think Twice.
That's kind of odd. Maybe he doesn't want to get syncopated.
Yeah.
And Matt Costa with a main phase Think Twice.
Maybe they agreed we have to play everything on main phase.
Yeah, maybe they made that agreement before the game.
Yeah,
no instance. No funny business.
Yeah, come on, guys.
So I guess that really speaks to how important Think Twice is and how important 1 extra card is in this matchup, that a Syncopate is less valuable than a Think Twice.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is that they're both trying to play fast. They know that they're closing in on 15 minutes. The game will go long. No one really has a trump card. Right. It's not like one player has an Aetherling where it's like, oh, if the Aetherling resolves, I'll just win the game off that. It's really grindy. Restoration Angels will kind of stare at each other. The game will probably go to turn 22. That's my guess. What do you think?
Wow, I'd say like 14.
14?
So
really?
Resto Angel comes down for Justin. The Cavern is on Angel, so Matt can't counter it.
Yeah.
Matt drops to 17.
I wrote it down. Turn 22.
Okay, 22.
All right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's going to be like 2/3 of their decks are gone.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's how it usually goes. You know what else goes really long? The blue-red flash match versus Esper goes really long most of the time.
So Matt Costa's Resto Angel is syncopated. Justin has 3 mana available for Matt's turn. Let's see if Matt can punish him for it.
Yeah.
For tapping low.
I mean, what can he really do, though?
Probably not much.
Yeah.
The 1 Cavern of Souls from Justin is huge right here because he has another Restoration in hand.
Yeah, both players, pretty much same exact list. Both have 1 copy of Cavern of Souls. Restoration Angel will get in again. If anybody at home is actually keeping track of the turns, do me a favor. I know we're on turn 6, but I can't count much higher than that.
Yeah, you only have 10 fingers.
Yeah. So my guess is 22. If you guys have any thoughts on how long this game will actually end, or how long this game will actually go to, how many turns, tweet in. I would love to hear your answers.
So War Leader Helix comes down on the Restoration Angel, brings Matt back up to... Was that the first attack or the second?
This was the second attack. This would have been the second attack.
Right. So up to 21 goes Matt Costa.
All right. Ooh, this is the spell.
That's great. So Sphinx's Revelation and Dispel in hand for Justin Desai. I think Matt Costa only has half the combo. I think he only has the Sphinxes so far. And actually, maybe not even that.
For what?
For the combo Sphinx's Revelation plus Dispel.
Justin has Sphinx Revelation, Dispel, and Counterflux.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's in pretty good shape, but he doesn't know what Costa has.
Right.
And plus, he doesn't have enough mana to set it all up. So the other thing is that you don't want to get decked. I feel like that's a possibility.
I don't know about that. Both players have access to 2 War Leaders Helix and Snapcasters to flash him back.
Yeah.
Maybe though.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. All right, Restoration Angel gets in again.
Yep, Matt Costa on 15, Justin Desai on 16.
Now, are these guys boarding in their Thundermaw Hellkite? Even though it's not like a trump like Etherling, do you think they both have them in?
They'll board in at least 1 or 2, maybe not all 3.
Okay, that's fair. You don't want to really get that stuck in your hand, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So turn burn on the Angel at the end of turn for Matt. And I think he has Dispel mana up as well. I don't know if he has a Dispel.
All right, a Syncopate for 2. Leaving 4 mana. Yeah, Justin has Dispel in hand. His hand is Counterflux, Sphinx Revelation, Dispel. Right.
Ooh, Matt draws a Resto, another one. That'll be pretty good.
Yeah, he'll just pass the turn.
He's a little bit on the back foot here. See, Justin got a threat out.
Did you see what he just drew?
What was it?
It was a Thunderball.
Yeah.
All right, so you're definitely right. He is going to board at least 1 or 2.
So not sure on what part of the turn we're in. This is either an end of turn restoration or a combat. It looks like combat, and those two will bounce off each other.
Costa draws. Oh, okay. Costa has his Cavern now.
Really, really important in this matchup.
Yeah, maybe Costa wants to hold it for the Hellkite.
If he has, it'll definitely be the last land he plays. But if it's that or
not play a land,
yeah. I think he'll play a land.
Yeah, I think so too. I think land drops are like more important than kind of slow rolling in Cavern.
Right. He's not really being that aggressive right now either. He can't afford to attack because he doesn't have the Hellkite yet.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And Costa will just pass the turn.
Yep, we'll find out what that Cavern is on for you guys. It might be Angel because he has the Angel in hand.
Yeah, and there's a chance that Costa has so much confidence in his ability to play this deck that he wants the game to go as long as possible, because the longer a game goes, the more options and the more decisions, and the more chance Costa has for his opponent to maybe make a mistake. So that's something else to think about.
Right, so it looks like the Cavern was on Angel for Matt Costa, so both Caverns in play on Angel. And wow, Justin going for the Sphinx's end of turn. Matt's going to fight over it. Syncopate for 2.
Syncopate for 2.
And if Justin played this way, he has to Dispel here.
I think he just has to go for it.
Yeah.
There's the Dispel and the Syncopate.
Justin's like, please can I?
Costa's going to play Snapcaster here?
Looks like it, yeah.
All right. And Syncopate for 1 again.
And if Justin has a Sphinx's Revelation to punish him, that'll be great, but I don't think he does.
He doesn't, but he has Thundermaw Hellkite, which might almost be better. Oh, and he drew a Dispel and a Counterflux. Great. This is really good. Because players are probably not going to keep in their Supreme Verdict.
No, you can't keep that in this matchup.
Yeah.
So 8 coming in. Matt Costa drops to 7, and Justin now has Counterflux to back up his 8 points of power here.
Yeah, really, really good spot for Justin right now.
Yeah, it is.
Costa does have an Azorius Charm and a Restoration Angel, so he's definitely not out of it yet.
Yep, he'll drop Justin to 14 with the Snapcaster, but can't attack with Restoration. Has to leave that one back.
All right, Justin draws. Wow, Snapcaster. Justin's got some nice draws this game.
Yeah.
This just really shows the power of Blue White Red Flash. You know, you're drawing Sphinx of Revelation into Snapcaster and Thundermaw Hellkite. All these cards are powerful. They give you card advantage, and they're just dangerous cards. And your opponent really has to worry about, hey, what am I going to do? What does my opponent have?
Yeah, the deck just has so much play, especially in the mirror match. There's so many different permutations of instants that the players could have, how stacks are going to work themselves out.
Yep. So both flyers swing in. And I think Costa's going to, Restoration Angel before blocks, and he targets the Snapcaster Mage. So Justin obviously has to let that resolve because of the Cavern.
That's right.
I mean, if he has something, he could kind of stop the Snapcaster from blinking back in.
And now, presumably, the Snapcaster will target the War Leader's Helix.
Yeah, and I think Justin is debating if he wants to... What is he going to do?
He has counter, counter, and Snapcaster, which can only target Dispel, so he has counter, counter, counter. He can't really do much.
Yeah, so... I don't know. It's a really, really close game. I think Costa's going to double block the Thundermaw.
Right. First things first, he's going to War Leader's Helix to make sure that Justin does actually have a counter.
Yeah. I think Justin's going to use his Snapcaster Mage here, which is fine. Maybe using the spell is better and holding the Snapcaster. I think using the spell is better, and you want to hold onto your Snapcaster for, you know, flashing back your counterflux or something.
Well, also, it makes it so that any War Leader's Helix drawn will result in a dead Matt Costa.
Yeah, okay, so he uses the spell instead.
Yeah, I like that.
I definitely agree there.
Okay, so now Matt Costa knows that Justin has a Snapcaster because he saw him like tap 2, untap 2.
Yeah.
So right then, you know, you see him pick up his opponent's graveyard.
Yeah, just Dispel and Secret Baits.
Yeah.
Only 2 counters, like you said.
So right now, Justin doesn't have many options. He just has counter, 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 counter. Or 2 counters.
All right, double blocks Thundermaw Hellkite.
Now Costa says, if you got it, you got it.
No, he doesn't have it.
No, he doesn't.
All right, so one of those angels will hit the bin.
Yep, Matt Costa drops to 4.
Yeah, now if Costa had 1 extra mana, he would have been able to use an Azorius Charm that's in his hand.
Right.
Instead, he draws Augur Ball.
Not a bad draw.
I think he stalls the Think Twice in his yard. But I think I would want to lead off with the Augur first.
Right, get a little deeper into the deck, try and find a War Leader's Helix or a Snapcaster to go with.
These players down to 8 minutes. Turnenberg, wow.
Great draw. A great hit.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice. Snapcaster gets in. Justin down to 12.
All right, Costa's going to pass the turn.
If you're just joining us right now, we're coming to the end of round 7 here. Justin Desai v. Matt Costa. These players are playing an elimination match.
Yeah, there's Augur Bolus. 1, 2, 3. 3 lands. It is a whiff, but it's not that bad.
No, it's not. That gets rid of those 3 lands on top. Really, you're not that sad to miss with the Augur.
Yeah, I mean, if it's 3 lands, you're not. If it's like Thundermaw, Resto, or something, you're like, oh, man.
That's not too common, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely more common that it would be land. Than 3 really good spells. There's a flashback of the Think Twice.
Yep, Matt just digs a little deeper into his deck here. That's a great draw.
Yeah, another Dispel from Costa. Costa still doesn't have any great attacks here because now Justin is on the defense and he has, you know, a 3/4 and a 1/3, right? So I think Augur. I think what Costa thinks is that he's going to win this war, but Justin has the counterflux.
Right.
So this is not going to be good for Costa.
Yeah, and you know it's really hard to play around the one-off counterflux in Justin Desai's list. It's near impossible.
Yeah. So we'll see how this plays out. I mean, if I'm Justin here, I just want to go Augur in front of the Snapcaster Mage and Restoration Angel in front of the other Restoration Angel. Oh wow, he decides to take it. Do you like that line of play?
I understand why he did it because he wants to try and save his counterflux for to maybe back up a War Leader's Helix. He wants to save his counterflux to counter Sphinx's Revelation.
That makes sense.
We know Matt Costa doesn't have any of those cards, but Justin has to live in fear.
Yeah.
You know, Matt Costa is so deep into his deck, he should have found a Sphinx's by now.
And I guess taking 3 isn't the end of the world. Like, the difference between 12 and 9 isn't that big of a deal, I guess.
Not really.
All right, so there is a turn and burn on the Restoration Angel.
Yep, post-combat turn burn.
Yeah, Costa will tap 5 mana for that.
And Justin, he has a Snapcaster and a Counterflux in hand, so he has 2 counter spells. He has to decide, what are Matt Costa's last 2 cards? Can I afford to waste a counter spell on this?
I think he has to. I think he needs that Restoration Angel to block next turn because he doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to go to 6. Being at 9 is different than 6.
Right.
So he's gonna start off with a Snapcaster Mage.
Yep.
Which is fine.
Yeah, I think the Counterflux is a little more valuable. At this point, you're probably not going to burn Costa out.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so Snapcaster Dispel.
Do you think Costa considered Azorius Charm for lifelink, or like this is way too early?
I think it's too early because he figures if Desai had the War Leader's Helix, he would have cast it by now. I think Costa tapped out 2 turns ago.
All right, there's a Counterflux on the spell.
Yep, so Justin Desai, counter, Matt counters back.
Yeah,
Justin
you
Desai
can't tap like that.
plays the Trump counter.
Yep. All right, so Justin is empty-handed. Costa just with the Azorius Charm. Ooh, and there's a rewind.
Is Matt Costa dead on board? Oh no, he has the Azorius.
Yeah, he has the Azorius Charm. All right. So Costa goes on to 1. Is that correct?
Yep. Draw a card.
Yep. Yeah. This is tough. I mean, Costa played this well. Costa set it up where he put Justin to a test on his upkeep.
Right.
So
Augur of Bolas needs to hit here. I see Rewind, Syncopate, and Dispel. Looks like he'll go with the Rewind.
I think Rewind's the best there. I don't know. What do you think?
It's better than Dispel because it can counter any potential Thundermaws or Snapcasters. Yeah, that's the best.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Costa there. Let's see, Justin draws, Sacred Foundry.
Oh, and he has a Rewind too, so these players still at parity.
Yeah, Costa just at 1.
Dispel.
That was a pretty good draw.
Wow.
Azorius Charm.
It's like these players are playing the mirror or something.
I would play out all my lands now if I'm Justin. I don't really want to hold lands.
Yeah, you can't afford to hold lands at this stage of the game.
Yeah, I think there's just like not much point there.
Yep, so Matt Costa, Justin Desai in a tense game 3 here. This is round 7 of Star City Worcester. These players playing an elimination match.
Yeah, 3 minutes left. Looks like he's going to try to cycle this Azorius Charm.
Matt says okay.
Yep, just as another Sacred Foundry. There's an
Augur. That's going to dig him a little closer to the War Leader's
It's also
Helix.
lethal, if Costa doesn't do anything. Or represents lethal, we'll say. Dissipate.
All right. Thundermaw to the bottom, that's pretty important.
But getting a Dissipate's pretty nice there.
Yeah, it is. So Justin Desai has counter. Matt Costa has counter. We'll see if Matt cycles his charm. No, he doesn't. Wow, that's a huge draw. With the Cavern of Souls on Angel, Matt Costa's Resto will resolve it, will blink out the Augur.
Yeah, and Costa will get deeper into his deck.
Yeah. Searching for that Sphinx's Revelation.
Wow, Justin just goes for it? That's crazy.
He picked the exact wrong turn to go for it here.
Yeah, it definitely was the wrong turn. I don't think Justin needed to do anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure. With Matt at 1, you have to figure he has something.
Yeah, like if you're at 9 and your opponent's at 1, you have inevitability. You can just wait, you can wait.
Draw your helixes.
Yeah.
So Augur finds Sphinx's Revelation, and this combat is not going to go well for Justin Desai. He's going to lose 2 creatures to Matt Costa's 0 creatures. All his creatures are going to be tapped. This is not good for Justin.
I guess Costa's, just setting up his blocks, wants to make sure he could play. I don't really know what he's trying to play.
Lifelink.
Oh, Lifelink. Okay, yeah. That's pretty insane.
Yeah, and I think Justin Desai has to fight over this. He has to keep Matt Costa at 1 here.
Yeah, but he just saw that Costa got his Sphinx's Revelation. So it's like,
you're not going to be able to keep him at 1 no matter what you do.
I think the turning point of the game right there was that Justin got a bit impatient, and he went for it when he didn't need to.
Right.
And it just shows the patience that Costa has with his deck.
Yeah, I guarantee you Costa would not have made that attack. Right
Yeah.
No way.
Costa draws Steam Vents.
So do you think Costa is going to go for an upkeep Sphinx's Revelation now?
I'm not sure. I don't think there's any point really to do on upkeep. I think giving the extra draw is fine. I think you want to see what he's going to do first because of Thundermaw Hellkite being a haste creature. I think end of turn Sphinx is much better. Yeah.
Sphinxes for 3, hold off both a Rewind and a Dispel.
Justin will probably lead off with the Rewind here. I think Rewind's better than Dissipate. I think it is, right, or no?
Yeah.
It's really tough sequencing here.
It's going to turn out not to matter too much. Either it's going to be countered or it's not.
Just the one thing I didn't like was that Justin left open red, white.
Yeah.
So I think if you lead off with Rewind first, you can just tap the Cavern, tap one of the cliff top 3 traits, have more blue mana open.
Right now Justin doesn't have
anything,
double blue or even a single blue.
Yeah, I mean, it's just 1 card left in hand.
Now Costa should be able to put this one away here.
Oh, two cards left, Justin? What's the other card?
I thought it was 1.
Oh, no, yeah,
okay,
Azorius Charm and Sacred Foundry. Okay.
Oh, and there's the Thunder Maw Hellkite.
Yeah.
That represents lethal.
Yeah. Also, not leaving open blue, he can't use his Azorius Charm.
Right.
Yeah,
handshake.
I think Justin know that he might have made a few bad choices there, shaking his head. A tough match. They were under pressure because they're both X and 1. They're under pressure because of the time.
Yeah.
And you can really see Justin is upset. He shakes Costa's hand, but knows that game could have been